Have you ever felt like giving up? Like the whole world is against you, and nothing you do ever seems to work out? We've all been there. Today, I want to tell you a story. It's about a boy named Alan, and his journey might just change the way you see your own struggles. Alan was a dreamer. From the time he was little, he'd stare up at the sky, his eyes wide with wonder, captivated by the airplanes soaring overhead. He didn't just want to watch them. He wanted to build them. Not just any planes, but the most incredible, awe-inspiring aircraft the world had ever seen. He filled notebooks with sketches, his imagination taking flight long before his creations ever would. His room was a delightful mess of blueprints, balsa wood, and tiny propellers. For Alan, engineering wasn't just a hobby. It was his calling. As he grew older, this passion led him to the most prestigious engineering university in the country. He arrived with a heart full of hope and a mind buzzing with ideas. He quickly stood out, not just for his talent, but for his relentless work ethic. While others went to parties, Alan was in the workshop, his hands covered in grease, meticulously piecing together his latest design. His professors saw his potential, and his classmates admired his dedication. Everything seemed to be falling into place. Then came the annual National Aeronautical Design Competition. This was the big one, the Everest for young engineers. Winning this competition meant instant recognition, scholarships, and a fast track to a dream career. Alan poured every ounce of his being into his project. He designed a revolutionary single-seat aircraft, a marvel of lightweight materials and aerodynamic efficiency. He spent countless sleepless nights refining his blueprints, running simulations, and building the prototype. It was more than just a machine. It was a piece of his soul. On the day of the competition, the air buzzed with excitement and nervous energy. The country's brightest young minds were all there, showcasing their incredible inventions. Alan stood proudly by his aircraft, his heart pounding with a mix of pride and anxiety. He had done it. He was here. The initial stages went perfectly. His presentation was flawless, and the judges were visibly impressed with his innovative design and the sheer craftsmanship of his prototype. He could feel it. He was close. Then came the final test, the flight demonstration. This was the moment of truth. As his aircraft taxied down the runway, Alan held his breath. It lifted off the ground, a graceful silver bird against the blue sky. It was flying. A huge smile spread across Alan's face. The crowd gasped in admiration. But then, disaster struck. A sudden, violent gust of wind caught the wing at just the wrong angle. There was a sickening crack. The aircraft spiraled out of control and crashed to the ground in a tangled wreck of metal and shattered dreams. Silence fell over the field. Alan stood frozen, his world collapsing around him. The sounds of the crowd, the whispers of the judges. It all faded into a dull roar in his ears. All those late nights, all that sacrifice, for nothing. Humiliation washed over him, hot and sharp. He had failed. And he had failed spectacularly in front of everyone. That night, Alan didn't go back to the workshop. He went back to his empty dorm room and locked the door. The trophy, once a symbol of his ambition, now seemed to mock him from the shelf. He packed his bags, ready to quit, ready to leave his dream behind forever. The pain of his failure was a physical weight, crushing his spirit. He felt like a fraud, an imposter who had no place among the truly gifted. Just as he was about to walk out, his phone buzzed. It was a message from his old professor, Mr. Harrison. The message was simple. "The workshop is open. I'll be there." Alan hesitated. A part of him wanted to ignore it, to just run away. But another, smaller part, a flicker of the boy who used to sketch airplanes in his notebook, felt a pull. He slowly made his way to the familiar workshop, the scene of so many of his triumphs and now his greatest defeat. Mr. Harrison was there, holding a piece of the wreckage from Alan's plane. He didn't say, "I told you so," or offer empty platitudes. Instead, he looked at Alan and said, "Failure isn't the opposite of success, Alan. It's a part of it. Every great inventor, every pioneer you admire, has a list of failures a mile long. What makes them great isn't that they never fall. It's that they always get back up." He then showed Alan old photographs. A young Thomas Edison standing next to a pile of failed light bulb prototypes. The Wright brothers, with one of their early gliders, crashed and broken. They didn't see a wreck, Mr. Harrison said, pointing to the piece in his hand. They saw a lesson. They saw data. "What did you learn from this crash, Alan?" Something shifted inside Alan. He looked at the mangled piece of his aircraft, but this time he saw it through new eyes. He saw the weak point in the wing strut. He saw the flaw in the aerodynamic calculation that didn't account for extreme wind shear. He saw an opportunity to improve. The fire wasn't out. It had just been buried under a pile of ash. That night, Alan didn't sleep. But this time, it wasn't from anxiety. It was from excitement. He unpacked his bags and spread his blueprints out on the table. He wasn't just fixing his old design. He was creating something entirely new, something stronger, smarter, and more resilient. He worked with a renewed passion, fueled not by the desire to win, but by the love of the process, the joy of solving the puzzle. A year later, Alan was back at the National Aeronautical Design Competition. Some people whispered as he walked in, remembering the spectacular crash. But Alan didn't care. He was a different person. He was calmer, more confident. His new aircraft was a masterpiece. It incorporated the lessons from his failure with a reinforced wing design and an advanced stabilization system. When it was his turn for the flight demonstration, there was no gust of wind this time. But it wouldn't have mattered if there was. The aircraft performed flawlessly, soaring through the sky with a grace and stability that left everyone breathless. It was a testament not just to his engineering skill, but to his incredible perseverance. This time, when his aircraft landed safely on the runway, the crowd erupted in thunderous applause. Alan didn't just win the competition. He earned the respect of everyone there. Alan's story isn't just about building airplanes. It's about building resilience. It as a reminder that our biggest setbacks are often the very things that propel us to our greatest heights. That moment you feel like giving up, that's the exact moment you need to dig deeper. Failure is not a stop sign. It's a guidepost pointing you in a new direction, showing you what you need to learn. So, the next time you fall, the next time your project crashes and burns, I want you to think of Alan. Remember that it's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it. It's about getting back up, dusting yourself off, and using that lesson to build something even better. Your dream is worth the struggle. You are stronger than you think. Never, ever give up. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiration. We'll see you in the next video.